Nom da Shin da Jo Ba Re Sho Ya Sem Jin Nam Je Sam Ba Dang Lo Ye Se Pra Che Da War Che Chong Tu Mo Te Pa Chu Jian Ko Lo Ko De So
Ba Do Do Jin Chang Ru Kun Cha Da La Ma Ka Che Bu Bu Ju Te Se Che Pa Che Dan Do Jin Dan Jo Ma Tele Kun Che Jo Bo Ju Che Je Pa Ja Chang Da La A Jo Te Je Ku Bu Ba To Je Chong De Pa De Zo La Ma Mo Che Da Gri Jo Pen Da Dan Ka Den Jo Ba Go Ne Jo Zon De Ku Zon Du Jo Ku Zo Do So An Den Sang Gen Yang Na Ya Ka Den Sang Gen Gu Na La Za Ga La Ma Ja La To An Den Da Zo Du Do Na Cho La Rang Ju Wo Te Bi Yi Je Ko Um De Ju Sun Du Ka Le Kazu Yo Do Chi Ra Zang Bo Ko Lo Do Ren Jin Cha La So De An Do Chun Ju Ju Ge Je Jen Na De Je Lo Ma Ju Ba Ang Zo Den De Dan Be Chu Je Cha Be Be Sam Bo Do Ba Tam Che She Che Ka Chen Lai Ke Po No Jen Ke Da Du Ba Dan Da Ne Ke Na Do A Ko Je Da Ge Cha Ta Pa Am Ja Ra Ra Ke Ta Ge Chun Do Wa Na Nam Ke Ta Da Nye Be Sen Je Tam Je Ta Na Me Bo Do Be San Ge Je Go Ba Rum Bo Je La Go Ba Cha De Che Do 장주주도 통제된 샘버르죠. 텔라 간슨 샘버르죠. chuyên 다른 값을 봐봐. 봐도 좋아 집에 값을 봐봐. Hello everybody there. Welcome to BARDO discussion. I hope last week from that first session you have learned something about BARDO. And my hope is that during this whole session of teaching, series of teaching, is going to be more than 10 days, probably, most likely. So you will not only learn about what BARDO really means, and most importantly, you are able to apply this in daily life. I think that's what is very, very important, because our journey starts from now. It begins now. And if we are not prepared now in BARDO, it becomes overwhelmed. I don't think we can really practice in BARDO. So this is the best option, best opportunity that we have in our hand, and we shouldn't miss it. Make sure that we try to understand. And when we are in BARDO, so we are confident, comfortable, and relax. I think that can happen if we prepare now. So it is very, very important. And I believe after all this session, you will know about BARDO. I can guarantee that you will know about BARDO. But what I can't guarantee is you will practice. This is up to you, So this is very, very important. So let me begin with the discussion, actual discussion. We will have on the screen what I'm going to share shortly. Okay. Okay. So now the meaning of BARDO. So how I have prepared this discussion is, first I will give you the basic understanding of what BARDO means. What BARDO means, and then the second step will be how we apply this. How we apply this, the techniques, the point that we may have learned from the first BARDO, second BARDO, and third BARDO. So that's going to be the approach. Okay. So beginning with now, the meaning of BARDO, what BARDO means. Now, Buddhism in general believes in impermanence. Impermanence, understanding profoundly impermanent, help us to embrace Dharma and to have a less attachment to our surrounding. The reason is that nothing is permanent. Everything changes in every moment, every second. Okay, that's what the picture is. Is shown to us. Now, if somebody believes in true existence, then you can't, you can't in a reverse, or you can't convince such individual to detach from samsara. So understanding impermanence help us to understand dependent and of course emptiness eventually. So as we learn from the discussion from many gurus, one of the most important things that all the gurus pointed out as is that we have to we have to see our life as a dream, life as an illusion, and then whatever that we have, due to our habitual tendency, that what appears in our mind, pointing out all these are not real. There's nothing is real. In order to understand the lack of existence. So, so this is very, very important. So this is a way to, help individuals, who are following the wrong path. So if you start to building something true existence, then, it becomes that much harder to actually to give up attachment, give attachment to samsara as a whole. So this is very, very important. So similarly, many gurus have actually pointed out to Dharma practitioners that what you see actually is all the appearances. In fact, is a part of BARDO. Okay, so to understand that we are in BARDO, so we cannot say, oh, when I'm in BARDO, I'm supposed to do this, but actually you are already in BARDO. We are already in BARDO, so we cannot say beings in the BARDO, but in fact we are in the BARDO. So there are three kinds of BARDO generally explained, pointed out to three different kinds of BARDO. The BARDO of birth and death, the BARDO of dream, and the BARDO of existence. So these are the three BARDOs. And so basically means that we are in BARDO. It basically means we are in BARDO. Hello? We are in BARDO. Now, among the three BARDOs, the emphasis is given on BARDO of existence. BARDO of existence, this is where all the actions are taking place. And this is the most important, and also because this is where many confusion arises. And if you are not well prepared, then we may, follow the wrong path, end up with endless suffering. And this is the reason why it is so important. And also, what we have learned is, the moment the BARDO of this life, BARDO of birth and death, moment this ends, the BARDO of existence actually begins at the same time. So moment ends, that moment, BARDO of existence will begins. So there's no time, second or minute. There's no such time frame. The moment the BARDO of rebirth and death ends, that very moment the BARDO of existence begins. It's like when you turn on the light. Then the moment you turn on the light, that very moment, the darkness disappears. So you don't have to say when you turn off the light, you have to wait for a few seconds to disappear the darkness. No, the moment the light is on, the darkness disappears. So that's what the time frame is. So now, according to according to what do you call Abhidharma explains that what Abhidharma now, according to highest yoga tantra, many of us may think that we may not have a body in Bardo, because our body, the moment when we die, our body will be cremated, so there's no body in Bardo. And there are many arguments. Some say there's a Bardo body, some say there's no body. But then, according to the highest yoga tantra, what it explains is that there is a subtle body. Okay, there is a subtle body. The body is made of wind and mind. But actually, in one way of explaining, another way of explaining, mind is like a soglum. We call it soglum. It's like mind and wind. You can't really separate. So there is a body made of wind. So there's a mental body in Bardo, and this mental body is like in the Bardo is the one go through all the takes a difficult journey, like in our dream. Okay. So what this says now, so if you ask what kind of what kind of body that Bardo being possessed, this is a there's a great discussion. There's a lot of people. I think you have to go down the. Go down the. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So according to the Treasury Abhidharma, according to Abhidharma, it says Bardo being the body that Bardo being possessed. That is a question asked by many of us. What kind of body that Bardo being has? It's not the body that we have, but it's a different kinds of body. So what kind of body that Bardo being has? And so what this the Treasury Abhidharma explains. If you being the body of Bardo, beings in Bardo, if you say the life the Bardo being going to take, if you compare with that body and the being body in the Bardo, then it may say earlier. Earlier means like if you compare the body to what, like if you're going to reborn as a human being. So if you compare with the body of human being to the Bardo being, that means the Bardo being not body is the earlier, means not the body that the Bardo being had when he was or she was other form of life or maybe human being. So which means in short, which means that the Bardo being, and there are many different opinions. Some say it would look like the Bardo being would look like exactly when he or she was as a person was any other form. But then there are many other who disagree. Many other prove that Bardo being has a body which going to obtain after from the Bardo when Bardo being leaves the Bardo state, reborn in any of the 6 realms. So the Bardo being will have the body of among the 6 realms wherever the Bardo going to reborn. So they're like the higher Treasury Abhidharma as well. So there are many explains, that the Bardo being would look exactly not like the body that Bardo being had possessed in his or her previous life, but the body what he or he's going to obtain or acquire after Bardo being leave the Bardo state. So there are a lot of argument, and also so as I mentioned, when you say earlier doesn't mean that the previous life. Earlier means if you compare the being in Bardo, in next after when this being leaves the Bardo state, will acquire the body of any among the sixth realm. So if you compare the body of sixth realm, then if you compare with the body in Bardo, so this is earlier, but not the body which Bardo being already possessed in the past life. So that is not the case. And according to again Jejum, Marpa scroll on the Bardo, as Marpa, according to Jejum Marpa has stated, this sounds very, very, if you have a first glance, difficult to understand, but then we can sort it out. So Chedashi means like 3.5. So basically what it means is the Bardo being is saying the first 3.5 days of body is the earlier body that may have become earlier, like animal or human, whatever, whichever form, and 3.5 body. If 7 days Bardo being is living, then the Bardo being will have the body of what kind of body according to their karmic effects they're going to acquire. So actually, there's not much of contradiction here. So so if I summarize the being in Bardo, if you say what kind of body that Bardo beings in the Bardo will have or will have is the body that Bardo going to acquire after he or she left the Bardo state of Bardo. That's what it's saying here. And there are many different sutras that say this is what, some say that, the Bardo being body will look exactly like the previous life. Some say, no, it will look like and, either way, you can't really, it's hard to prove. But then, according to many gurus say, there's no contradiction at all. Like Mangaltiputra, I think one of the son of Buddha's son, who went to hell realm to liberate his mother. Yeah, like Buddha Shakyamuni, who went to heaven to help his mother. So in this context, it sounds like the mother in Tisuta heaven and in hell realm looks like the mother who has the previous body. So again, so you can't say that this is right and this is wrong. So that's what we need to understand. Now, Kunzig Shama Rinpoche, according to Kunzig Shama Rinpoche, pertinent quotation on the 6 dharmas, how he explained is like, actually, the Bardo being looks exactly the Bardo in a way he or she is going to reborn. It means the coming life, not like the past life. However, in the mind of Bardo being, because in Bardo being tend to have a very strong habitual tendency. So like a dream, Bardo being tend to think that, oh, I am like from the previous life. That's what the mental print that Bardo karmic prints tend to have in Bardo being. So it's not BARDO being actually looks like the previous being, but BARDO being actually looks like the coming being. Okay? That's what Shamapa said. So in this case, both view are not wrong, so it depends on what you, in which context you explain. So they look like both, so there's no contradiction. And also they also say here, like furthermore, if I say, who possess a divine eye, who see actual body of BARDO being, who looks exactly like what the body would become, but who may have not like a divine eye, but who may have like a similar to divine eye, close to divine eye, who may see not the exact BARDO being, but who is able to see the mental imprint of this BARDO being. That means like whatever the BARDO being think that he possesses, what kind of body, whichever body the BARDO being think that he possesses or she possesses, they tend to see that. So again, there's two different opinions. So either way, you cannot say this is right, this is wrong. So you have to see just in the context, and it is hard to make like black and white. So it's a different opinion, but they are not they do not contradict each other in terms of actual meaning. So that's what Guzi Shamaramji explained. Now, according to prophecy transmigration sutra, what this explained is like when BARDO when the being is about to die, some spirit may get into BARDO being, and also there is saying that when you are born, there are so many like there are many other beings are born together, which we may not know, So what happens is when it's very interesting. When somebody dies, they actually take the form of the being who just died, and they may come to their family members, or they may come to friends saying that where I am, how I'm doing, what are the difficulties and what I need, all this. They may come and explain, and sometimes they may lead their family to the wrong path, somehow going against the law of cause and effect. So there are many confusion created by this being. So these beings are not necessarily the real actual being, but they actually transform themselves in the form of being of someone who have just died or died earlier. So I think this could be reason, and it could explain clear many doubt that you may hear people saying, "Oh, somebody came to me and say this and that." There are cases that is true, but many times you cannot just simply, because there could be someone else. Like sometimes someone like a lot of con people. That they may call you as a friend and they want to get something from you. So even in BARDO is not spared. Yeah. We face always this kind of situation in real life, but it being also in BARDO, they are facing this kind of situation. So you just need to be careful. So that's what it is saying here. So now one interesting thing here is like, who possess divine eye, who possess divine eye, they are able to see among themselves, and they are able to see even us. But this eye is acquired not through birth, but through practice such as meditation and other practices. The bird sort of like they are like BARDO being. Their miraculous power or their these sort is not due to their practice, but due to where they are born. So there are differences. So this what you need to keep in. You need to keep in mind, yeah. And of course, if you compare Buddha, they have this eye. They're able to see where we're going to be born. They're able to see what kind of form we're going to take. But then Bardo will not have this kind of sort of like ability, and also like similar to proximate to Buddha, Arhat, also have, and Bodhisattvas also may have not similar to Buddha, but approximate to Buddha's quality. So I think so far what I have shared with you, maybe a little bit of confusion here because about how they look. So once again, if I make it clearer, the Bardo beings in the Bardo, they look exactly where they're going to be born. It's not how they don't look like whom they were in the past. Okay, they're going to look more and more where they're going to be reborn. That's what Bardo teaching says. Okay, that's one thing we have to make clear. But then, of course, it's difficult to say how they look exactly because many sutras, again, have different opinion, and there are reasons. There are reasons why they say that. But then, overall, if you say generally, if you say what kind of form that Bardo being will have, they will have more and more form that they're going to obtain in the near future, in their next life. Okay, and that's what it says here. Says okay. Now the subtlety of the Bardo body. Many of us may think how they look like. Does they look like us, or does they look like someone else or something else? Basically, what we need to understand is beings in Bardo, they don't have a physical form, but they do have a form. Actually, we call a mental body. They have a mental body. And that's the reason why, they can be anywhere at the moment they think. They don't have to plan to go somewhere. They don't have to book the ticket. They don't have to, arrange visa. They can be wherever they want to be. It's because a mental body. Like for instance, I can be here, but if I think about somewhere else, like Singapore, or Hong Kong, wherever, I can be there immediately, but with the physical body, my body cannot be there, but my mental body can be anywhere. So Bardo beings, they all possess mental body. Now coming to what kind of body they possess. So this is what is explaining now here. Okay, we are in the desire realm. There's a form realm and there's a formless realm. And then the form realm, compared to our body, their body is much purer, more subtle. Therefore, when their body is more pure and more subtle, and then even their body in the Bardo is more subtle, subtler than their body. Okay, so that's how we need to compare. And then if you compare, even there are 6 different God realm in human formless desire realm. So their body is more gross. Okay, their body is more gross, and so then if you compare the body of their Bardo and then it's much more subtle. Okay, so beings in a BARDO, they don't have a physical form, as I mentioned. Their form is mental body. Okay, mental body, and this is the reason why they don't, they can go anywhere. They can go anywhere. Nothing can really stop them. Nothing can. They can go through wall. They can go through anywhere. Like I think you may see in some of the movies. Of course, like even like highly practitioner, practitioners or accomplished practitioner. There are cases like I heard from a long time back. That's like almost like 40 over years ago. I heard the story from Rinpoche, Chodate Rinpoche. He was when he was conducting teaching one day. There was one practitioner in somewhere in Lhasa, and then he was contemplating upon emptiness, and now we know what emptiness means, and most likely how we know about emptiness is basically we manipulate through words. We have not experienced emptiness, we have not seen emptiness, we have not realized it. Simply through words we understand what emptiness means. Okay, and this monk was very serious, and he was very deeply engaged in practice of emptiness. And while he was riding a horse, and then he was so deeply engaged, and then when he came to senses, when he wake and opened his eye, he was inside the room. He was inside the room with the horse. And in Tibet, in Lhasa, most of the door earlier, long, very low, not so high. They have to like bend a little bit to go in. So he was so shocked that he was with a horse inside. So probably he had to break the door to let the horse go out. So that's what happened. So sometimes when somebody is in, who attain realization, who has a deep understanding of emptiness, they're able to like go through walls. They're able to perform many different kinds of miracles that can happen. Because what a human can do through practice is something we can't imagine. It's beyond our measurement. That can happen. So even in BARDO, they don't have such as miraculous power like Buddha and Bodhisattvas, but then they have a certain level power from their birth. They're able to go through war. Nothing can stop them. And of course, we will come to learn later that due to their karmic effect, they can't go through both Gaya's Bodhi Temple and Khao Rinpoche, Mount Kailash, and certain places. Other than they can go through everything. That's what they say. And they also tend to have this miraculous power to, and appear in front of them. So they're able to do so many things. And this is all due to their birth obtained, not through their practices, okay? So, okay, that's it. And now coming to the BARDO, what kind of nourishment in the BARDO, you may ask, is there any restaurant in BARDO, or if there is any hotel, or is there any different cuisine that I can enjoy? No, there's not part of choices. It was so funny one time. One man came to me and he said, Rinpoche, you always say, I heard a lot of Rinpoche Lama say that we do pray to Amitabha Pyola, so we did go to Amitabha Pyola. And he said, actually, his question is genuine. I mean, he's serious, And he said, Rinpoche, here we have everything. I can go to a different restaurant. I can go wherever I want. But how about in Amitabha Pyola? Do we have to just pray and chant? And I think I would be so bored in Amitabha Pyola. I thought, yeah, that's serious concern for someone who don't practice, who doesn't practice. So, you may have this kind of question. I mean, I don't blame. It can happen to all of us. So we may wonder what kind of beings in BARDO they have, they enjoy. Mostly indoors, the smell. So that's the reason we, offer food. Sang is different. Sang we offer to deities and oleh gods and all the land protector. But food is something that they offer to all these beings who were able to, who survive on actually their main diet. If I say their main diet is just a smell, main diet is just a smell. So it will satisfy their needs. So that's the reason why, like every after Makala, normally we tend to offer recite Sur prayers, and of course occasionally we can do that. But again, it says it's not only that. It's not only that only enjoy the smell, but I think some beings in BARDO, they also enjoy other things. They may able to eat. There are some cases. You may hear story that if you leave some food on the table, the food disappears. So there are cases. Probably you may hear this kind of story. So this kind of story. So beings in BARDO, they may enjoy other forms of food. So not necessarily just smell. I think that's the reason why, like, during Chancho prayer, Chautu prayer, for disease, we also make some offering food. So that this could be the reason. Now coming to the last point, which is the color of BARDO being. So what kind of color that BARDO being will possess? And this is what is explaining here. So there are many actually sutras, many tantric texts explain what kind of color that BARDO being possess. So generally, according to one of the yogi, Yangonpa, according to Yangonpa, he described, so there's a saying, BARDO being is like a being without leg, okay? And the wind is the horse of BARDO being, who is blind. So the person who can't walk need a horse. Horse who doesn't have an eye needs someone to guide them. So they are equally depend on each other. So what BARDO being rides on is the wind. Okay, that's what he's saying. Okay, and the consciousness actually is like polluted with 5 poisons. Of course, all our mental consciousness are indeed polluted with all the 5 poison. Yeah. So that's what he's saying here. And due to combination of later I will explain the wind, which is form of purity of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and wind. Yeah, and then the mind, which also has 5 poison, and 5 different wisdom of Buddha. So when these merge, what happens is it creates due to depending on the wind and the consciousness, and it due to dependent, what happens is like 5-color light. The pure 5-color light tend to actually radiate, and it will appear. In BARDO Chodo, last time we learned that this is the color of all the deities. Appear 5 different deities, appear different color. But here it's not about the deity; it's about the beings in the 6th realm. So what happened is like now the consciousness has a force, when somebody who like to go for joy ride, for fun, but if somebody somehow managed to get a car, would definitely go for a ride. Oh, beautiful ride. That's what happened with the being in Bardo. How somehow if this being managed to ride the wind as a horse, and what happened? Now the Bardo being become very busy, start traveling all over the places. The reason why the Bardo being travel all over the places is not because it's the Bardo being going for a joyride. Beings of the Bardo is so confused, so stressed out, so much suffering. They want to run away. They want to be someone else, someone else, otherwise, beings in the Bardo is like person without citizenship, without identity card, without citizenship. What can you do? You are neither here or there, so you are very much trouble, So it's difficult for people, who do not have a country and proper document, everywhere in the world, when we see from their perspective, it's so difficult, So if we can help, we must help, because that's what like Bardo being, When you're in Bardo, there's no identity, no citizenship. So they suffer so much. They want to be part of one of the realm, and therefore they try to look for a place so they can rest peacefully. So while this is happening, what happened is the five-color light from the combination of the wind and also the consciousness will appear like a pot, appear like a pot when the lights are radiating. So what happens is whichever light you follow, then you will reborn in that particular realm. So it's so important to know from now that which color that you should choose. So it's very important. I cannot say, oh, my favorite color is green color or blue color, red color. You may end up with the wrong person. So it's not about what I like, what I wish. It's about what is beneficial, what is meaningful to me. I think that's what we need to choose in life. It's not about what I think and what I like. Sometimes stubbornness and egoistic view can bring us failure. So we have to, in such scenarios, we have to be, in terms of practitioner, we have to be opportunists, not the opportunist that someone would tricks others, but we have to be opportune in terms of whichever that way approaches that I'm able to embrace meaningfully, then we have to go ahead without letting your ego and without your stubbornness blocking us the way. So this is very, very important. So now it says, if you're going to reborn, like the white, if you follow 5-color light, you're basically six color. If you follow the white color, that means you will take rebirth in God realm. This is a good place. Okay, and if you follow the red color light, then you will reborn in demigod realm, which is not so good but still good, And if you want to be human again, you have to follow blue color. Don't forget, if you want to come back, blue color. Make sure that you follow the blue color. Don't follow yellow color. Okay, they say if you follow yellow color, then you will reborn in hungry ghost realm. It's not a beautiful color. Okay, no yellow color. Okay, and don't follow green color. My favorite color is green color. In this case, I cannot follow green color because then if I follow green color, I will reborn in animal realm. Animal realm. And then if you follow smoky color, then you will reborn in hell realm. So these are the 5 colors that you have to remember, different from what you hear from other total. Yeah. So white and blue, that's the best option here. White, blue, red. White, blue, red. Okay. white, blue, red. So these are, and among, if you want to be practitioner, to be connected with Dharma, I think blue color is the best color that you have. Okay. So what happens? So this color becomes stronger and stronger, and then what happens is, if you follow the color, any color, then everything that you see, this will transform into. Suppose if you follow the white color, then everything becomes white. Okay, white color. Even the mental body, the body that I possess in BARDO, mental body also tend to look white. You know, everything tend to look white. It seems like a color blind. White color seem to look white color. And then so according to some of the highly accomplished practitioners who have actually realized the body, physical and mental truth, who have attained this realization, who can see the beings in the BARDO according to their whispering, they're verbally passed down to student for generation. So basically, BARDO being, they write on a wind. Okay, and wind, as I say, is made of 5 elements, the purest of 5 elements, the purity of the 5 elements, and the mind consciousness, which on the purity side, the impurity side, which has which is poison, obscured by 5 poison, and on the purity side, it is like it has the seed of 5 wisdom of Buddha. So what happened is, due to a combination of this purity of wind and impurity of 5 wisdom of this consciousness, so it's light, or it's what you call radiation, or light, and due to all this purity, we tend to see this, we tend to see these 5 colors, 5 colors of this purity, yeah, and that's the reason why it is called purity, because when you and this is the reason, with the combination, then you are able to see that's all these different lights, and due to all this, with the connection with wind and the consciousness. Okay, and that's the reason, with the purity of wind and consciousness, then we are able to see these 5 different light to guide us. Now, what happens is, like, initially, yeah, can see here, yeah. Okay, can go up. Okay, right on the wind. Okay. Okay, so that's what I have just explained. Now, coming to the okay, you can see that here. So anyway, I'm going to post that on Facebook. Also, we're going to post on Facebook. Also, we will have a Zoom. Yeah. So anyway, you're going to get all this material. I prepared so much material so that it can be helpful to you. It can be helpful to you when you go back to review and listen to the discussion. It will definitely help you. So now what happens now? Finally, the 5 light, 5 light, or all this light, self-radiant. Yeah, this is called self-radiant. Due to when this 5 light tend to radiate at the same time, same time. And then initially, the 5 light is not like different color, radiating in different areas. No, five, like a chocolate. I've seen candies, like 5-color Tuesday, like 5-color sort of like Tuesday light radiates at the same time. So what happens is if you're going to reborn in a God realm, if you're going to reborn in God realm, all the light becomes white, and it becomes the white color becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, and other light becomes dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, and then everything, all the part becomes white color, and then and also your physical body, and basically that what you see, everything becomes white, And if you're going to born as a human, then blue color, demigod, red color, yellow, green, and smoky color. No, it's a no-go area. Okay, you should just avoid. Okay, even you may like so much yellow, green, or blue color. That's a different from what we practice. So this is the color of different beings. So we shouldn't mistake. You may say, "Oh, I pray to green Tara every day. How can I give up green color?" No, that's not the question. That's a different from this light. Okay, this is the light that is going to take you in different forms of 6 gram. But the green Tara is a different color, so we shouldn't mix. Okay, that's a different thing totally. So I think that's all I wanted to share for this session. And we will have next session, okay? We will have next session. So probably it's going to take another, I'm afraid, may take another 8 to 9 days, So I want to make sure that I'm making all this effort, and Daniel, Ali, all our, translators, and Lama Jimmy, and everyone, we all making this effort to learn something. So I want to make sure that this time you learn something. And so that's why my goal is, my aim is, when I teach something, I want to make sure that you learn. It's not just sake of listening and then everything just disappear. That is not something that we should be looking for. We should listen, learn something, make sure that we can teach others, and not just teach others, but practice ourselves. That should be our goal, okay? So I would like to leave it here. So we will have a question answer. Yeah, we may take like few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, 2 minutes break, and so they can prepare, so we can start having question answer. Okay. Hopefully you have learned something.
So, Hai Rinpoche, can we visualize? Hai Rinpoche, dapat kita memvisualisasikan diri kita sebagai Tara, sebagai Tara, Cakra Sabara, dan sebagai ketika kita melakukan persembahan sang ataupun persembahan sur. Jadi kita tidak perlu memvisualisasikan diri kita, mau juga nggak apa-apa, tetapi yang paling penting adalah mengikuti teks yang kamu bacakan saat itu adalah yang paling tepat. Ikuti saja teks daripada yang kamu lakukan itu. Persembahan itu bukan hanya persembahan saja, tetapi adalah kita harus memiliki satu welas asih. Saya mempersembahkan ini untuk kemanfaat daripada Anda semuanya. Jadi itu yang penting. Saya baru jadi saya baru meletakkan di chat tentang link video dan juga minggu lalu dan minggu ini. Segala sesuatu dikatakan tidak nyata. Apakah kebudayaan itu, benih kebudayaan itu murni? Secara relatif, jadi tidak ada sesuatu yang sejati itu adalah fakta. Tetapi bila mana kita bahkan kebudayaan ataupun segala sesuatu itu juga tidak ada ataupun tidak sejati. Jadi apa yang kita upayakan di sini adalah kita berada dalam mimpi dan kita berpraktis untuk tersadar daripada mimpi ini. Dan ketika kita bangun daripada mimpi, maka semua mimpi buruk ataupun mimpi indah semuanya lenyap. Jadi itulah yang kita secara simpel menyebutnya sebagai kebudayaan. Tetapi pada dasarnya tidak ada sesuatu apapun yang nyata. Bahkan dikatakan di akhirnya, bila mana Anda memiliki segala sesuatu sedikit saja pada kebudayaan, itu juga harus kita tinggalkan. Terima kasih, Rinpoche. Pertanyaan berikutnya adalah, apakah makhluk BARDO masih bisa melekat pada sesuatu atau seseorang yang dicintai? Apakah bisa dapat kita lakukan untuk menolong makhluk ini? Ya sudah tentu. Ya, ketika kita lebih lanjut lagi, jadi benar makhluk BARDO, mereka akan selalu memperhatikan, dan ketika mereka melakukan sesuatu untuk mereka akan sangat bahagia sekali. Dan bila ada orang yang memikir yang jelek tentang mereka akan sangat marah sekali. Jadi apa sesungguhnya adalah setelah tiga malam, 1 hari, mungkin ya sekitar itu, makhluk BARDO itu, mereka akan menyadari bahwa mereka sudah mati. Sebelum itu mereka tidak akan menyadarinya. Jadi mereka akan seperti normal, mereka akan datang makan sarapan bersama dengan Anda, dan ketika mereka berbicara atau lihat kamu, Anda tidak respon itu, maka atau perlahan-lahan mereka menyadari bahwa mereka sudah meninggal dunia. Apakah oke untuk menggantung gambar-gambar deity untuk di kamar tidur kita? Kalau iya, yang mana yang direkomendasikan? Tradisinya kita menggantungkan segala sesuatu, tetapi pada dasarnya di kamar tidur Anda, bila mana Anda tidak ada pilihan, kalau ada altar lebih bagus, tetapi terserah Anda boleh menggantungkan tara atau apapun juga, yang mana adalah merupakan pilihan kesukaan Anda, tidak ada yang salah. Tetapi bila mana Anda selalu mimpi buruk, ada yang mengganggu dan sebagainya, mungkin di pintu bisa kita letakkan si tata patra ataupun dakini wajah singa, ataupun di kamar kita ada si tata patra di atas kepala kita, ataupun meletakkan gambar apapun, tidak masalah. Terima kasih, Rinpoche. Bila mana kita mengikuti sinar cahaya, maka cahaya putih, maka dewa mana, apakah dewa berbentuk, dewa tidak berbentuk, berkeinginan dan sebagainya, ia tidak mengatakannya di situ. Mungkin saja tergantung daripada karma Anda, latihan Anda, itu akan membimbing kamu kepada alam-alam dewa yang berbeda. Terdapat detail-detail yang lain, tetapi di sini pada dasarnya, sejauh Anda terlahirkan di alam dewa, Anda sudah boleh berbahagia di sana. Kalau Anda ingin menjadi manusia, Anda pastikan Anda mau terlahirkan di mana. Jadi Rinpoche lah, apakah terdapat mantra untuk binatang-binatang pada umumnya? Kebanyakan kita membacakan Om Mani Padme Hum, ya. Terima kasih, Rinpoche. Dan Anda bisa membacakan nama daripada 35 Buddha, Kamapaceno. Terdapat banyak sekali mantra-mantra yang dapat kita lafalkan, dan di akhir daripada ajaran ini, mungkin saja sesi ke-7, 8, 10, saya juga akan memberikan transmisi daripada BARDO Monlam atau aspirasi BARDO yang ditulis oleh His Holiness Drupa yang kedua, dan juga mungkin saya akan mencari mantranya. Terima kasih, Rinpoche. Rinpoche, apa yang terjadi bila mana kita tidak memilih warnanya, dan berapa lama BARDO itu akan berlangsung? Ini bukan suatu perasaan yang kita miliki saat ini, ya. Bila mana Anda hidup di Afghanistan, kamu akan berupaya untuk melarikan diri, tidak peduli apakah pesawat rusak, helikopter rusak dan sebagainya, Anda berupaya untuk melarikan diri. Jadi ketika Anda berada di BARDO, Anda selalu dikejar-kejar oleh angin karma, dan selalu mendorong Anda, mengejar Anda, menakuti Anda. Jadi tidak ada cara bagi Anda untuk rileks ataupun nyaman. Saya pelan-pelan akan menunggu, memilih, itu tidak ada cerita seperti itu. Kamu akan secara konstan mencari-cari di mana saya bisa mencari satu pelindungan atau tempat yang aman. Rinpoche, bila mana Anda ingin terlahirkan di alam Sukawati, apa cahaya yang perlu kita ikutin?
You can just you can just follow white color, or you can actually
Anda bisa mengikuti warna putih. Sesungguhnya kalau Anda membacakan mantra daripada Amitabha atau nama Buddha Amitabha, maka Anda akan terlahirkan di Sukawati. Itulah ikrar daripada Amitabha. Satu hal adalah apa yang diajarkan di BARDO ini adalah satu aspek secara gambaran, secara keseran bagi ini gambaran besar bagi semua orang, tetapi banyak sekali pengecualian lagi tentunya bagi pribadi-pribadi. Ya, dan juga banyak hal yang tidak disebutkan di sini. Dan kemudian pada saat kita sampai pada BARDO pembentukan, kita bisa memilih ke alam Sukawati dan sebagainya. Jadi ini adalah merupakan sinar. Mungkin saja Anda bisa memilih sinar putih atau sinar biru. Terima kasih Rinpoche. Pertanyaan di sini adalah, minggu lalu menanyakan tentang donasi organ, di mana organ itu perlu diambil dalam waktu 24 jam. Apakah makhluk BARDO itu akan mengalami rasa sakit atau penderitaan? Saya bila mana Anda sudah siap secara mental untuk mendonasikan organ Anda, itu tidak akan mengganggu Anda. Tanpa mengetahui itu, seseorang mengambil segala sesuatu dari Anda, mungkin makhluk BARDO itu akan merasa marah. Tetapi Anda sudah bahkan ketika seseorang mengambil pakaian makanan Anda akan menjadi marah kalau Anda tidak siap sedia. Tetapi saya rasa tidak ada rasa sakit karena makhluk di BARDO itu. Jadi di sinilah BARDO, di sinilah utamanya daripada ajaran BARDO. Jangan takut, jangan merasa khawatir karena kamu hanya memiliki tubuh mental. Jadi tidak ada mental tubuh fisik lagi. Jadi tidak ada yang bisa mencelakai Anda, tidak ada yang bisa menyakiti Anda. Apa yang terjadi dikatakan adalah disebabkan karena karma kita, karena kalau kita sudah melakukan perbuatan-perbuatan tidak baik, maka disebabkan karena karma negatif ini, maka ia muncul seperti misalnya mimpi-mimpi buruk dalam analoginya. Jadi saya tidak jelas pertanyaannya. Jadi saya rasa manusia itu lebih mempunyai kesempatan bila mana kamu terlahirkan di alam dewa. Ketika Anda menghabiskan jasa kebajikan Anda akan terjatuh lagi. Jadi tubuh walaupun alam manusia itu bukan suatu tempat yang indah, tetapi kemudian Anda mempunyai sedemikian banyak kesempatan. Terdapat risknya, tetapi terdapat juga kesempatannya. Sudah barang tentu bila mana Anda memohon untuk terlahirkan di Sukawati ataupun alam murni Buddha lainnya, itu akan jauh lebih baik. Tetapi alam manusia itu tetap menjadi pilihan yang lebih baik. Jadi berapa lama untuk membiarkan tubuh itu sebelum kremasi dilakukan? Jadi menurut ajaran BARDO, Anda tidak boleh menyentuh tubuhnya untuk 8 jam. Bila mana seseorang dalam meditasi, mungkin ia bisa terganggu. Setelah itu nggak masalah. Pada dasarnya, di Tibet, Sikkim, Bhutan, dan Nepal, pada normalnya mereka akan mencek dengan para astrologi tanggalnya untuk melakukan kremasi tersebut. Jadi mereka akan mencari tempat dan waktu yang tepat. Jadi saat ini kita mengenal sedemikian banyak Rinpoche dan Lama, jadi kita bisa meminta mereka tentukan hari yang terbaik untuk mengkremasi dia. Jadi nggak perlu khawatir tentang hal itu.
Yes, Rinpoche, we're doing Facebook and we're also doing the translation of the
we try to answer as much as possible. I'm very
kita berupaya untuk berupaya menjawab pertanyaan-pertanyaan karena pertanyaan ini banyak sekali pertanyaan yang baik sekali.
Rinpoche,
Rinpoche,
one question here. Once we see
pertanyaan di sini adalah
in the BARDO,
Ketika kita melihat sinar BARDO, kita mengikuti cahaya tersebut, lalu apa yang perlu kita pikirkan? Apa latihan yang perlu kita lakukan?
Like if you're following blue light always.
Bila mana Anda mengikuti warna biru, sinar biru, maka Anda akan terlahirkan di manusia. Maka saya ingin terlahirkan di manusia untuk mencapai kebudayaan bagi semua makhluk hidup, untuk diri saya dan diri semua makhluk. Jadi kita harus memiliki tubuh pikiran positif, ataupun kita memvisualisasikan di dalam dan masuk ke dalam tersebut. Jadi permasalahannya adalah kita akan bertemu ketika kita lebih lanjut lagi, terdapat banyak hal-hal disebabkan karena akibat karmanya. Bahkan walaupun karma tempat itu sangat jelek sekali, kita cenderung untuk melihat itu adalah suatu tempat indah dan bagus untuk kita terlahirkan di sana. Jadi contohnya di dalam saat ini atau kehidupan ini, saya dengar banyak sekali ketika Anda melihat banyak beli rumah, ketika Anda kita beli rumah, mungkin rumahnya sangat bagus sekali, tetapi rumah itu banyak sekali sengketa, kasus dan sebagainya setelah kita beli, dan akhirnya kita berhadapan dengan banyak masalah. Jadi terdapat banyak hal yang di sana, ya, terdapat banyak hal di sana. Rinpoche, pertanyaannya adalah di dalam latihan ini, sinar ini membawa kita ke alam berbeda. Apakah ada juga sinar yang membawa kita ke alam murni Buddha? Jadi itulah yang kita pelajari di dalam BARDO tetap, tetapi di dalam ajaran ini tidak ada. Jadi ketika kita belajar lebih lanjut, kita akan mengetahui cara yang berbeda, dan ini adalah sesuatu yang sangat berbeda. Apa perbedaan latihan ini dan latihan untuk terlahirkan di Sukawati? Jadi ketika kita lebih lanjut lagi, kita akan mempelajari hal ini. Ia mendorong kita untuk melatih yidam kita, bisa jadi abhidhamma dan sebagainya. Jadi ini adalah merupakan bagian yang sangat penting sekali untuk pelatihan BARDO. Jadi banyak sekali latihan-latihan dan pilihan latihan yang akan kita diskusikan di kemudian. Pertanyaan adalah Dewa Chen atau Sukawati. Apa sinar yang perlu kita ikuti untuk sampai ke alam Sukawati? Jadi ini bukan hanya satu cara atau satu pendekatan. Jadi terdapat banyak hal yang perlu kita mengerti. Jadi Anda juga bisa beraspirasi ataupun melakukan praktis daripada alam murni Amitabha. Jadi semua ini diperlukan. Ketika Anda lebih maju, lebih dalam lagi, ia akan mendiskusikan tentang praktehan daripada hidam apapun, bisa jadi Amitabha dan sebagainya. Jadi semua ini memain peranan yang sangat penting sekali. Anda bisa pernah mendengar cerita, mungkin saat mereka meninggal, kita mendengarkan suara-suara trompet ataupun ciuman yang wangi, ada pelangi yang muncul, dan mereka terlahirkan di alam Sukawati dan juga alam murni Buddha lainnya. Mungkin Anda pernah mendengar cerita demikian. Semua ini adalah praktisi daripada umat berumah tangga yang umum, yang biasa. Dan juga mungkin kita melihat bahwa para dewa-dewi mengundang mereka untuk ke alam murni tertentu. Jadi Dewa Chen atau Sukawati adalah merupakan alam murni yang kita harapkan ke sana. Jadi setelah di sana, kita sudah tinggal di sana, dan di sana kita akan menjadi lebih baik dan lebih baik. Kita tidak perlu kemana-mana lagi setelah sampai di Sukawati. Terima kasih Rinpoche. Apakah tubuh mental di dalam BARDO dapat mencelakai yang lain? terdapat kasus disebabkan karena makhluk-makhluk BARDO itu mereka ada kekuatan, jadi ada kemungkinan bisa mencelakai yang lain.
Normally when we think of rebirth, we think this is dependent upon our karma. But if someone has been very evil, done bad things, and then
jadi kalau seseorang melakukan
as a god,
melakukan kejahatan yang besar sekali, kalau masih mengikuti cahaya putih, apakah ia masih dapat terlahirkan di alam dewa? Jadi itulah yang dikatakan di dalam BARDO. Apa yang dikatakan di sini ya? Praktek ini adalah sangat berkekuatan sehingga tidak peduli betapa karma seseorang itu bisa dapat berkurang. Jadi sama seperti misalnya satu ruangan yang sudah gelap puluhan ribu tahun, begitu Anda membuka jendelanya, maka saat itu juga kegelapan itu menjadi lenyap. Jadi di dalam agama Buddha, terutama Tantrayana, terdapat sedemikian banyak metode untuk yang sangat mendalam sekali, yang tidak terdapat dibayangkan. Jadi efeknya itu sangat luar biasa. Jadi kita tidak dapat menghakimi bahwa ini harus begitu atau ini harus begitu. Jadi contohnya adalah seorang kapten yang berwirausaha ketika ia menyadari bahwa seseorang ingin membunuh daripada 500 orang lainnya dan merampok semua kepemilikannya, harta bendanya, dan kapten yang berbelas asih ini, ia merenungkan bila mana ia membunuh semua orang ini, maka penjahat itu akan masuk ke dalam neraka dan semua orang ini akan mati. Dan bila mana saya membunuhnya, maka saya yang jatuh ke neraka, ia terselamatkan ke neraka dan orang lain juga terselamatkan, dan mereka ia membunuh penjahat tersebut. Dan alih-alih sebagai tindakan kejahatan, aktivitas ini bahkan memultiplikasikan jasa kebajikannya menjadi jutaan-jutaan kali. Jadi ini sangat tergantung sekali. Jadi di dalam ajaran Tantra, kedalaman daripada latihan-latihan ini kita benar-benar tidak dapat menghakiminya. Pertanyaan lain adalah tidak peduli apakah bila mana Anda mengikuti cahaya saja, tidak perlu karma baik untuk dapat terlahirkan alam dewan. Bagi saya pribadi, saya tidak akan mengambil kesempatan itu. Saya akan melakukan persiapan saat ini. Mungkin kamu tidak akan bisa tahu, kamu akan sangat ketakutan saat itu dan akan mengambil sinar yang berbeda disebabkan karena karma Anda. Jadi Anda harus mempersiapkannya saat ini. Apa yang terjadi adalah bila mana kita tidak mengikuti warna itu, bila mana Anda hanya melebur ke dalam kekosongan, Anda tidak melekat pada apapun, tetapi Anda tidak mengikuti cahaya itu. Apa yang akan terjadi bila kondisi seperti ini? Saya rasa Anda tidak akan mempunyai pilihan untuk berdiam seperti itu. Anda selalu tertekan dan ya memang tergantung daripada latihan Anda. Tapi kita berbicara pada umumnya. Pada umumnya kamu itu dalam seperti kondisi jadi sama seperti Anda berada di dalam stasiun kereta api. Jadi ketika orang keluar masuk, Anda berdiri di sana, Anda juga akan terdorong keluar masuk keluar, Bang. Kecuali Anda benar-benar seorang praktisi yang bagus. Jadi kalau Anda memang seorang praktisi yang bagus, Anda mungkin sudah terlahirkan sebelum sinar-sinar itu muncul. Mungkin Anda sudah terlahirkan sebagai Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya. Jadi itu semua tergantung daripada tingkatan daripada latihan Anda. Ketika seseorang mendekati kematian, kesadaran orang itu menjadi lemah, pendengaran juga melemah. Bila mana kita melafalkan BARDO itu, apakah ia masih mampu untuk mendengarkannya dengan jelas? Apa yang terjadi adalah orang yang tidak dapat melihat, mendengar tindakan Anda, mungkin mereka mungkin saja dapat mendengar dengan sangat jelas sekali. Banyak sekali cerita-cerita ketika Anda melakukan melakukan powa pada seseorang, orang yang belum meninggal, maka ia akan marah bahwa menjadi marah sekali, aku belum meninggal, kenapa Anda melakukan powa pada saya? Jadi dalam hal kedokteran juga, orang-orang yang berada dalam korma, mungkin Anda menganggap mereka itu seperti pohon saja, tetapi sesungguhnya mereka tidak. Sesungguhnya mereka mendengarkan apapun dan melihat apapun, cuma tidak bisa melakukan jawaban ataupun berespon terhadap itu.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Terima kasih, Rinpoche. Orang-orang dari agama lain, apakah mereka juga masih melihat cahaya-cahaya ini? Ini pertanyaan bagus ya. Anda mungkin melihat, tetapi Anda tidak akan mengenalinya. Sama seperti luminositas itu akan muncul pada setiap orang, tetapi tidak setiap orang menyadarinya. Jadi ini mungkin saja terjadi pada setiap orang, tetapi Anda tidak mampu untuk menyadarinya. Terima kasih, Rinpoche. Bagaimanapun juga, bagaimanapun juga kita mengikuti jalan tol yang sangat super. Pertanyaan ini, ada orang yang mengatakan bahwa apabila Anda melakukan lucid dream atau dream yoga dan Anda memvisualisasikan bisa mencapai pencerahan di BARDO, apakah itu dream yoga itu cara yang terbaik? Ini sudah barang tentu sangat bagus sekali. Semua praktis itu mempunyai manfaatnya tergantung pada diri kita. Jadi tidak ada berarti bahwa ini bagus, itu bagus. Tetapi tanpa ada dasar yang bagus, Anda bukan menikmati hasil daripada latihan itu. Sama saja seperti seseorang yang tidak pernah mempelajari apapun. Mungkin saja orang bisa mengatakan, gelar master saya akan mencapai itu. Itu tidak akan terjadi. Tidak akan pernah terjadi. Jadi ini bagus, tetapi praktek-praktek lain juga tidak buruk. Jadi kita harus pastikan di mana level kita dan apa latihan yang kita pelajari, yang kita tingkatkan. Jadi ini bukan berarti mana yang lebih tinggi dan mana yang lebih rendah, mana yang lebih buruk dan lebih baik. Ini sangat tergantung pada individu. Ada orang yang hanya mengatakan Om Mani Padme Hum dan mereka bisa terlahirkan di Sukawati. Ada yang juga sangat terpelajar, mungkin terlahirkan di tempat yang lain. Terima kasih, Rinpoche. Ada orang mengatakan ada yang pernah dengar daripada lama lain di dalam tantra ataupun di dalam patriksana, bila mana kita apakah mengatakan bahwa kita memberikan organ-organ kita itu artinya mencelakai tubuh kita, karena kalau kita memberikan organ kita itu, kalau di dalam pelatihan tantra kita tidak boleh menyakiti organ kita. Apakah itu benar? Saya tidak pasti, saya tidak tahu itu siapa bilang, tetapi saya tidak pikir itu akan mencelakai tubuh Anda. Jadi dalam hal ini, banyak bodhisattva, mereka memberikan tubuh mereka untuk manfaat yang lainnya. Itu mungkin akan dianggap sangat berdosa sekali. Mungkin kita harus melihat melihat konteks apa guru Wajana itu berkata, tapi secara umum saya rasa tidak buruk. Bagaimanapun juga agama Buddha itu selalu terlibat adalah mengenai keterlibatan di dalam membantu makhluk lain. Jadi saya rasa itu tidak akan ada salahnya. Terima kasih, Rinpoche.